Okay guys, welcome back to our figure building portion of Pivot Basics. Now, again, I'm really sorry if you can hear anything in the background and what's wrong with my voice? I guess I've been doing too much talking because you can see all of these tutorials. I've got an entire folder of tutorials right here that I've all recorded within the last while. Because my thing goes record, wait for it to compress, record, compress, record, compress. And I put these in about 10 so in advance so that when I do have them, as I said, I upload like 10 at a time. Not really a good strategy, but I really don't care, as I've mentioned. Okay, so, as I said, we are going to be building a figure from the bottom up. So, well, we already built a base, but this is my base, and as I said, it's a chibi base, so proportions are a little off, but you can still see he's a really thick character. But still 20. Whatever, it works for this. So okay, there we've got our proportions set to whatever we want, and save the base under your base, and that'll make him your signature base. Now you don't want to mix your signature base with someone else's signature base, because clashing bases looks very, very annoying and incredibly unprofessional, even though none of us are actually professionals. So here we go. Now, when designing a figure, delete half of them. I'm just using the delete key because that's quicker than click, 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 click. Yeah, I understand. And then straighten his legs out so that all the pixely things are perfectly smooth. Or you can look down here and it'll say length, angle, what your figure is, and thickness. So my angle is at 266, which means he's perfectly straight on his leg. Or it's 180, so he's straight. And then there, it's straight because it's flat down there. Okay, so now that we're building that, let's put his arms straight, so they should be straight at about the same thing your first one was. Yep. Okay. Now his body doesn't exactly need to be straight, but whatever. Okay. It's kind of hard to use my mouse on this surface. Okay, so for clothing, we're going to set this up to way up here so that it's at, depending on your base, mine is 10. Yours should be at about 5 if you're using someone like Link's base, which you get from your main Dragon Ball Z packs and stuff. If you're using anything but a chibi base, you're going to want it at about 5. But since I'm using chibi, mine's going to be set at 10 because that's in proportion to how big my legs are. So we're going to go through and design clothes. Always start from you don't ever have feet on a pivot character. We leave them this. So we're going to start at the bottom of the pants. So starting with his trousers, we're going to go and do something relatively simple for this character. And we're just going to have some cheesy pants. Maybe I made these just a little bit too thick, but whatever, it'll work. And then we're going to do the same on this, and you can't just keep continuing, or else it'll all move with this. So you've actually got to make a segment again and then continue it from up here. Ooh, don't want to do that. I'm gonna want to make him have some pants, and then we're going to just continue this. Alright, now this looks really bad, but since you're a beginner, it's something like you would make, right? Alright, now that we've got our legs done, we're going to duplicate the top leg segment, and we're going to begin this. So figure out where you started everything from, and then just click D, click again. and then just follow which directions you did, remembering your pattern from before. You don't want to do something like that. You want to have, is that where that ended? There it is. And then now we're gonna go move to this one, which we started about, where did this start? It's not where that started. Where did that segment start? Okay, I see where it is. It started way down here. That's not what we want. We want that to move to this, which we may have already got. And that'll go to there, which this should keep continuing until we have our final one. So yes, now we've got pants. Let's just duplicate that foot over. And so now we've got a character with some nice symmetrical pants. Alright, now you can do your arms. Now most pivot characters, they don't show their shirt, so if you want to show they just got a t-shirt on, then you work by going way up here and doing essentially what you did with your arm or legs. You're going to make that relatively thick or whatever, and you're just going to add your little t-shirt area as sort of just a triangle added on, and then you're going to duplicate that. But since most figures makers don't do that, we're just going to go through and add something to add some detail, although detail doesn't even need to be added, which is a bracelet, because bracelets look nice on a figure. So we're just going to go like that, and you see we're just adding an outline because that's all you need, and all of these are static. Okay, and since say a Dragon Ball Z character will only have a bracelet on one arm, that's all we'll do, one arm. So there's that. Now that we're at this point where we have all our clothing on, you're going to want to save this under whatever you want your figure's name to be. So say this is our tutorial file. We'll have character blank, so we'll name him blah, and then blah here, two bases for, or whatever, for bases of whichever series you're doing. Yeah, so all your figures, all your bases will go in here, and your basic regular figures will go in here, unless you want to add them to another folder like heroes and villains like I do. So base will be blah base. Alright, now we can go in and add the hair. This makes stuff like Dragon Ball Z really easy, because Dragon Ball Z, they have Super Saiyan. So you can design your regular and then click back to your base. Well, that's why you don't do your hair first, because then you'd have to redo the entire body the exact same, which is a real pain in the bum. So okay, let's begin. We're basically going to want to start by adding a line somewhere, and hair is done at thickness of 3, no matter what your base is. And you want to do the front first. And just pivot figures face the direct side. So keep that in mind. You don't want your character facing the camera. You want them facing profile to the camera, and they are silhouettes. So you see, you've got to sketch it out as an outline first. Now you can have a sketch of your character like on pen and paper, but you can't like convert those over unless you do something like what I'm doing here and just making a figure like so. Now, since I've got a background in Dragon Ball Z animating and figure making, I do a lot of Dragon Ball Z and figure making, or Dragon Ball Z figures, and all of them are kind of inspired by my Dragon Ball Z work. Oh man, I was so thirsty I was dying. Literally. Quite. So, then we're going to go in with our top thickest point. We're going to go through and do all the basic work, because you only have 255 segments to work with. So you're going to want to make all you can of that. There's that. And then we're going to move in from the front, and then outline the edges, kind of like you're coloring in. You don't want to color outside the lines, and so to get around that, you color the edges first, and then you fill the stuff in, starting at the edges. That keeps you from going outside the line, and it'll keep your pivot figures from having what we call holes. And holes are a pain in the butt. Yeah, major. Like, even some of my best figures have been plagued with holes, and it makes figures look so bad. And even some of the more professional pivot makers are just pivot and pivot figure makers are so fed up with holes that they're just like, no one cares, which everyone really does, but don't let them know. So we're making the most of this segment limit, but you can look right down here that I'm only at 114 segments. So I'm about halfway mark, not even. Okay, voila. Now our character's hair looks a little dull, and you can see that it's all static, so nothing of that moves. Now we're going to go through and add a line, just a really short line, and we're going to bring that down to 2 and keep it at static. This will make your character's hair look a little bit more pointy. And that will then make your hair look spiked. And you can do that again at 1, but you don't want to overdo it on most characters. Some characters you can overdo the spiking with. Alright, so I'm going to just round this bit out. And I'll save this guy as blah back in this folder. Blah, whatever. That was an S, but okay. Now we're going to add him to the animation, and I'll show you what holes are, because this character is probably riddled with them. Now let's move his hair, and there's one. You can see right there's a little hole right there of white. But surprisingly, I didn't get much. Now, his hair doesn't look very realistic. I could have added a line there, but whatever. It was our first figure, so now everything works decently well for a figure. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video on how to make a basic character. You can figure out what works for you, and this is all based on your own artistic ability. So thank you so very much for your time. If you liked this video, then leave a like. If you want to tell me something you want to know how to do, or you just want to congratulate yourself on the good job and or me for animating this, then yes, comment. And if you want to get these directly sent to something like your smartphone or whatever, it'll send you a little text saying that I've uploaded a video, or you'll just see it in your feed on your YouTube page that I have uploaded a video. Then you can subscribe. That lets you keep updated with everything I'm doing. I honestly though don't really care. It just lets me know that somebody likes what I'm doing. So yes, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Happy animating, and good luck building your figures.